G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we are off to Melbourne. We're taking the Tessie. Going to do a bit of an energy sort of review. There goes all my lighting. So yeah, going to do a bit of an energy review. I know a lot of everyone else sort of does this, but I'm just more interested to do it myself, and I'll obviously just document it probably for my own well-being, just being as autistic as I am. So charged up to 98%, and we're going to head off. All we're doing, punching in the address and just going to use Tesla supercharger network the whole way down. We've got Mercedes with me, who's losing her mind because we've been sitting here for so long, and yeah, I've got the it's starting to lose their mind. Yes, we're going to leave in a second. So yeah, we'll just sort of document how many times we stop, how long for, all that sort of stuff. Just yeah, so looking forward to it. Done this trip a million times in petrol cars, so yeah, really excited to do this in electric and see how it goes.
So this is basically where we're going. I'm going to hold the camera as still as possible so I can blur out my address, but those are all the charging stops. Now Bentley is saying that it will change because the car doesn't realise that we're going on a highway, and obviously an EV at highway speeds is not the best.
Yeah, like a petrol car will start and stop. Every time it idles, it uses fuel for no reason, whereas this doesn't really use any energy when it's sitting still. But a petrol car will sit at 2,000 RPM and 100. This engine will be sitting at like 40,000 RPM or something to do 100. I don't know, that 40,000 might be completely made up, but
someone in the comments
all we'll be fighting at 100 is wind resistance and stuff like that, rolling resistance, whereas a petrol car, its battle is when stationary or going slow, it's not efficient. So we were reporting we'd arrive at the supercharger with a 40% charge, then that dropped down about as low as 36 as it was adjusting. Using Autopilot with our Rainbow Road, we're at 46% now, so we are hitting a little bit of traffic coming through the Gold Coast, so we'll just have a little bit of an update. We've been driving for about 50 minutes so far, and we've used about 13% of charge, so we've done I didn't actually reset an odometer right when we left, but we've consumed 56 kilometers worth of battery, 12 kilometers less than trip projection. And like looking at this, we're actually quite efficient. I don't really know what's happening here. I think we have to drive up a wall or something to get to our charging station. But yeah, so we're doing pretty good for electricity. A lot of the American YouTubers and stuff that I watch always complain that the economy turns to shit on the highway, but a lot of them are doing 70, 85 miles an hour, stuff like that. So they're cruising at like 130 k's an hour. So maybe at 100, 110, this is not actually too big of a problem for the economy. I was worried that 110 will chew fuel more than 100 or 90 or something. But given that we're still absolutely mauling our predicted economy, I'm not too concerned about it actually. We are currently also using, I did reset this just after we left home. We've averaged 128 watt hours per kilometre since I reset it, but we've also, so it was 10 Ks, so this current drive is 100 Ks at 133 watt hours per kilometre. So we did reset this 10 Ks after we left home. This one I will not reset until we get to Melbourne, so we can compare like each portion of the drive versus the total average. So we might find that because the roads are really crappy in Melbourne on the Hume, we might use more power when just cruising along at the same speeds. But yeah, it's all interesting to me, and I'm sure another 4 people on the entire world might find that interesting. But anyway, yeah, so just a bit of an update. So yeah, been going for about just over an hour, and yeah, just passing Nerang now. So
the thing that's surprising me, get down, is we're actually regenning enough to gain battery power, so it means our charging stops
are that's our predicted power once we get there.
Predicted power once we get to our first stop, so that means actually less time charging as well, so yeah, all pretty interesting.
So one of the best things about, one of the main reasons why I bought a Tesla is with the auto steer or autopilot, whatever they call it. It's not really autopilot, but it manages fatigue so well in the sense that whenever you're in traffic, it'll slow down and stop behind a car. It'll take off. You don't have to sit there going speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down. You don't have to really think as much. Obviously, you still have to pay attention and make sure you're not going to crash. Ultimately, it's your responsibility. But those who have driven through the Gold Coast in peak hour, it's just horrendous. It's horrible. It's the worst part of the trip. It's like the worst part of driving anywhere. And with this, I don't even have to think about it. I can listen to music, talk to Kester, chill out, do my own thing, and the car just takes off when it needs to, slows down when it needs to, keeps me in my lane. You know, it'll beep if someone's about to hit me, whatever. Like, it's just, it manages fatigue so much better than just normal cruise control or anything like that. I've done this drive so many times, I clearly can do it. I've done it non-stop, I've done it with sleeping stops, I've done it whatever. But just the fact that I don't need to waste brain capacity in bumper-to-bumper traffic is such a relief. So anyone that knows like this area here, where it's always habitual construction on the Gold Coast, as you're coming towards the end of the Gold Coast into Tweed and stuff like that, the last thing you want to do is sit here and just waste your brain capacity thinking about, it's a 60 zone now, it's a 40 zone now, the cars in front of me is stopping because someone left a McDonald's cup on the side of the road. And like, just the fact that like the car, like if you just bring the camera down a little bit, like we're cruising at 36 kilometers an hour, and you know, the car just cruises along and leaves a safe distance, and none of this becomes my problem to worry about, really. Like, it just takes away so much of that energy out of you to sit in this traffic for an hour. Whereas now I can just chill out and listen to music, and it's just nothing to me.
One of the cool things about this is the fact that it just picks up absolutely big rigs, so you're absolutely aware of everything around you.
It does not ever confuse any type of vehicle at all.
It is incredibly accurate that there is a monster truck, literally.
Oh no, but there's just a little car following it though.
There's a
it's even bigger than it.
There's a coupe.
And the best part is sometimes if there's a wall next to you, it thinks there's a bus in a lane that doesn't exist. In my eye, country roads, take me home to the place I belong.
We've just got a little thing that popped up that said preconditioning battery for fast charging, because it knows we're going to a fast charger. So pretty interesting, the information it feeds you while you're driving.
I've never used a fast charger. Oh, I have once, but I didn't precondition or put in the navigation. So it'll be interesting to see how fast it goes. The fastest I've ever charged this car is 16 amps, which it's like 100 k's an hour of charging. So it'll be cool to see, plug in the fast charger and see how fast the old doodad climbs when it's charging. It shows like, you know, 400 kilometers an hour of charging, which is pretty cool. So we're at the first supercharger stop, so this will be interesting. 22% battery left, so about as predicted. That last trip in total basically is halfway in between since last charge and trip A reset. So it's 398 kilometers basically, so got 400 Ks, still have 122 left. Averaged 143 watt hours per kilometre. It was mostly 110 zone. There was just a little bit of traffic and a little bit of construction, but other than that, pretty happy with that. 143 watt hour per kilometre. I'll do some maths on that and work out how much it roughly costs per 100 kilometres or whatever. I'll put that up on the screen maybe. So I believe at this rate for this charger, estimated charge time 30 minutes. If we don't charge, we'll make it to the next one with minus 30%. But we'll charge up now and see what it all looks like. I think this will probably need to recalculate because it thinks that we're going to go for another 4 hours. But I think we're only going to charge to probably about 85% here and see where the next one is. First time using one of these big chunkus ones, so flashing I think means it's communicating. Once she goes green, it's starting to charge. So she's just starting to charge now. 150, 200 kilometers an hour. Geez, that's going fast. 600 kilometers an hour, 700 kilometers an hour, 800 kilometers an hour. I'm going to jump in the car and make sure that our okay, so yeah, it's going at 125 kilowatts, so 840 kilometers an hour. Awesome. So we're still fanging along at 125 kilowatts. I am going to up that now to let it to charge to 85%. I'm just going to I have bad range anxiety and all that, so I'd rather just have that 5% extra just in case. It'll only add, you know, a few minutes to our charging top up. So yeah, we'll see how long roughly this took. So basically plugged in at 11 a.m. We'll see sort of how long, 25 minutes. So we'll come back here about 11:20, see how full we are. We're already gained 4% since we've been here for the probably 2 minutes. And this is something that never gets old. Merc's just living her best life, hopping around. Girl on a mission. Uh-oh, I've been spotted. So one of the things I don't quite understand is it'll say 5 minutes to continue trip or 10 minutes to charge limit. I did set it back to 80% because I realised that we didn't actually need 80% or more to get to our next stop. At this rate, even if we left now, we'd get there with 16% according to that, Heatherbray. But it doesn't actually tell me how much we need to charge to get to our next stop. So that's kind of annoying. I thought there would be a, you know, charge to 76% to get to your next stop or something, but apparently there's no way of telling. But we're still charging pretty fast, 78 kilowatts, 500 k's an hour. Roughly, so 5 minutes left, we'll be off. So we pulled up at about 11 a.m, been here for 23 minutes, so under half an hour we'll be on our way. Not too bad. Mercedes has already peed everywhere, sniffed everything, got stabbed by multiple syringes, and already over it and back in the car waiting on lunch. So we're going to go stop in GYG down the road and hit the road again. In the words of Russell Coit, time to hit the road. So it has now told me that I've charged enough to continue my trip, which was 72%. It's now at 73. So it just would have been nice to know beforehand how much I needed to have charged up to. Probably going to sit here and go to 80%. It's only another 10 minutes. Just about to bust out the old GYG app and make an order and then go pick it up down the road. So yeah, it's just one thing that's just a little bit annoying is it didn't tell me how much I need to actually charge up to, but it's not really a major deal. It's a bit of a personal preference that I'd like to know, but not critical. Just got to pay the old chip tax. Yum, 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 yum.
So one nifty little feature, we're just going through a average speed zone. So the Tesla actually pops up with the average speed zone, how long you're going to be in the average speed zone, and your average speed, which is pretty cool.
So yeah, one of the cool things about these supercharger locations is you're not just always stopping at the same overcrowded servos. So Merc's just loving life, cruising around a winery. Got a little pond down the bottom of the hill. Got a bunch of charging stations, a couple of Model Ys, a couple of Model 3s. There was another one here earlier, just took off. So yeah, it's a lot more chill than hanging out at super crowded servos and go to places that you don't normally stop at. So fun fact, next time we stop, I'm going to show you the energy meter before we stop and charge, because we just charged up and it wipes it. Anyway, done 550 Ks, used 80 kilowatt hours at 149 kilowatt hours per kilometre, watt hours per kilometre. Got over 1,000 Ks on the car now. Have enough charge to keep moving. So next stop is, we're going to stop in at Raymond Terrace, which is just before Newcastle. So we've currently got 67%, 372 kilometres to empty. We'll be at Raymond Terrace by about 4 p.m. and whack her on the supercharger there. They've got a big one, I think it's a Gen 3 set up there because they're all 250 kilowatt ones. So yeah, we'll probably, next thing you see, we'll probably be there. Yeah, we're out. We out of here. we out. Old Mirko's just chilling.
It's been an absolute trooper.
She's enjoying the stops. Probably the 10-minuters sort of more. 20-30 minutes she does get a little bit bored, but I do too. I'd have the attention span of a bloody mosquito. So probably do more stops with less Ks rather than just trying to space them right out. So maybe next time I do a big road trip, I may not even bother charging up to 100% before heading off. I think the whole point of that is maybe if the 100% will get you home and back, like to your destination and back, whereas maybe going forward I'll just do 80% and you know, just stop more often. So obviously doesn't really matter. Takes a while to charge up to 100% anyway, so probably overall in the grand scheme of things, probably better just to go to 80 before leaving. So that's what I might do before I head home. So anyway, we're gonna hit the road again. Done a driver swap now. Kester's piloting this rig now. Starting to get a little bit tired. Nothing too bad, but a lot safer just to swap and recover for a little bit and keep on moving. Live to see another day. So one thing this car deals with way better than the old BA is torrential rain. Autopilot doesn't love it. It can disable it due to poor visibility from the cameras, but just sitting in here is so peaceful. The sound deadening, the fact that it's heavy and has skinny tyres, it doesn't aquaplane at all. It just like cruises along like absolute butter. Like it is probably not showing up on video, but it is absolutely horrendous out. And we are just cruising along, like I say, nothing's wrong. So one thing with this freaking car is like autopilot.
I'm doing my part.
Indicators.
I'm doing my part.
Speed of charging.
I'm doing my part.
Windscreen wipers.
I didn't do fucking shit.
They either are flat out when there's nothing raining, or they take too long to turn on when it does rain. But you can take control of them, but it's like they've engineered this car so it can fly to Mars on its own, yet the wipers don't know if it's raining or not. It's probably the biggest complaint. Second biggest complaint would be
like now.
Obviously, just yeah, it's raining harder now and it's wiping less. The next probably biggest complaint for me would have to be I'm a fan of the indicator buttons. What I don't like is the cruise control and autopilot button, because it uses the little knobs on the steering wheel. The older cars have a stalk to go into gear and to enable cruise. I'm perfectly okay with the gears being here. That does not bother me in the slightest. But enabling single tap for cruise, double tap for autopilot, every single time I go to overtake someone, obviously I haven't paid for the $5,000 whatever, so I don't have the indicator lane change assist. So yeah, here we go. It's not even raining anymore and the wipers are still going just as fast as earlier. The road's literally dry. Anyway, so you'll indicate, you'll move over, it disables autopilot, you indicate, you move back, you got to put autopilot back on, double tap it just disables everything, the car slams on the auto brakes. Double tap it again, then for some reason it just puts on cruise control again. Double tap it again, then it enables autopilot. Whereas when it's the stalk, it's just tap tap and it enables it every time. So I'm sure there's a way to do it. I might even be able to do it with Tessie. I have the Tessie app. Not Tesla, the Tessie app. I think you can reprogram some of the buttons. So I might be able to reprogram the microphone button on the steering wheel to just...
Wrong. Not this time. Not this time. You're wrong. Not this time. It never happened.
Just enable autopilot. If I can, then that will make my life just that little bit easier. So just coming up to Brisbane Terrace now, about 8 minutes away, so 7 minutes away. Battery's just been preconditioning, so just coming into the supercharger station here now. So never been there, see what it's like. Seems to be a bigger station out of the two options we had. What I realised I'm going to have to do is look at the trip details before charging. So since charging, we've done 208 k's, 2 hours, 148 watt hours per kilometre, which is actually pretty much on par with the average of 750 k's so far since reset, 760 k's of 149 watt hours per kilometre. So it's good to see the car's fairly consistent everywhere we've sort of been. 110 zones, 100 zones, whatever, it's averaging all out around the same. and that's basically the same energy consumption since brand new as well at 1200 k's ago. This has been on the racetrack and everything, so it's sort of averaging all around the same, so pretty cool to see. So we'll see how much juice we throw into it and how long we're there for. So I don't know if the mic will pick it up, but every time we start slowing down, Stady starts losing her mind, getting excited. The perks of having a deaf dog, she has no idea how annoying she is. Just rolling up to this charging station now. It's I think it's a shopping centre or something. Whole bunch of empty Tesla bays. They all look like the new Gen 3 ones. Just so that, yeah, the final check here, pulling up to the big supercharger station is 213 k's since last charge. We use 31 kilowatt hours at 146 kilowatt hours per 146 watt hours per kilometre. It's just slightly under average for the whole trip. So just going to plug her in and see how long that's going to take to charge up. Take Merc for a quick fang around the area, and then we're going to grab some dinner or something maybe. But just got her plugged in and see what speed we're going to charge along at. I think the highest I've seen is 135 kilowatt, which is I think as fast as this car can charge, but that's going 200. Geez, that's fast. 200 kilowatts, 1400 kilometers an hour. It's dropping off very quickly though. It's already added a couple of percent, 2 kilowatts already. That drops off so quickly. I think that was, what was it, like 250 kilowatt or something for a bit. It's still annoying, it doesn't show me how high to go to continue trip. Like estimated charge time 30 minutes to continue trip, which will get us to Exeter. So it's 300 k's away, but it doesn't show the minimum it needs before we'll continue, like say 72% or something. Finishing up here in Raymond Terrace, we're at about 85%. This Model 3 that was here when we got here was still plugged in, so they're probably getting pumped with overdue fees of idle fees. And there's a sneaky Model 3 Performance in the car park too, so pretty cool to see out here. Also just saying these are, I think, the latest Gen 3 chargers, so they can work either side, left or right, and the cords are way longer. At that winery they were Gen 1, so the cords are really short. At the stop in Coffs Harbour they were Gen 2, so they were fairly long cords, but they were like the old style stands, so I think they were the Gen 2s. These are the Gen 3s. The closest I've come to making any sense of how to charge is this says 30 minutes to continue trip, 30 minutes to charge limit, so it wants me to get to 80%, but originally it actually said longer to get to continue trip than to the charge limit. So I might have to either increase the charge limit to like 90%, but I think once we get in the car, if we just redo the GPS, it might take us to a charge point that's different to the one that we originally wanted. Was Exeter is where we're going, so we'll end up with 19%, so that's why it wanted like a good big charge. We're at 84% and we're going to get there with 19, so if we just went to 80 we'd probably be pretty low. We might not make it, but what we might do, I might just end trip, start it again, see if we end up with a different choice of Campbelltown. 41% and a much shorter charge time there. Only a 30-minute charge needed. 2 hours instead of 3, so about 80 k's closer. I will actually check and see if it's I think it tells you, how does it tell you there was a way before that would say, oh, you click this, tell us, so 12 stalls, 250 kilowatts, so that's the big charging station instead of Exeter, which surely would be here maybe. No, that's Gundagai. I don't know where Exeter would have been. Blackstone. I wonder if Exeter was going to be in. No, it was further than that. So 6 stalls. Okay, 250 kilowatts, so that's probably the newer ones. It looks like there's nothing around there, whereas Campbelltown is a better area to fill up. Don't know. Anyway, we're going to keep rolling. Probably stop for some dinner soon. Probably won't film any of that. There's no point. That's just us stuff in our faces. So this is more about the Tesla than the adventure, but we'll carry on. So one of the greatest things that's been upgraded over the years of driving to Melbourne is this tunnel that goes around Sydney, so I don't have to go through the fucking suburbs, over the hills and through the fucking school zones and all that bullshit. So I can't remember what this tunnel's called or what we go around, but I believe it's all this shit that we go around, where that goes fucking zigzags everywhere all through Sydney. And
you go up through like Parramatta Hills.
And then you come out, there's like a freaking KFC and stuff in Parramatta. You skip all that and you go through a tunnel. It's so much better.
So the GPS isn't totally accurate inside a tunnel.
Well, it is telling me it's not accurate.
Well, it is saying it's not accurate, but we're currently on the 18th. Just about to.
Coming up the seventh fairway.
That is actually exactly the direction my balls take when I play golf. They go across, not definitely to the left and over to the fairway. I'm not even playing. All right, so we got out of the tunnel, got a bit hungry, decided we'd stop and get some dinner. Stopped at Hungry Jack's, jumped back in, and it's changed our charging point now. So we're no longer stopping in Campbelltown. We're going to be travelling for another 130 odd Ks up to Exeter, which when we first charged...
Yeah, that was the first one that we were arguing about.
Yes, before.
Raymond Terrace. Yeah, we averaged 148 watt hours per kilometre for 300 Ks. So that's since Raymond Terrace. We originally were directing to Campbelltown, but we decided after dinner that we were going to push on through to Exeter, head the brake pies. So we've pulled up with about 24% instead of like 40%. So we've also had the battery all spooled up, ready to cop a big load. So done to 1,064 Ks at 148 watt hours. Everything's averaging out about the same. So not a whole heap to report really. Just gonna keep charging it up and moving along. We're going to swap drivers at this point too. I'm just starting to get a bit of shoulder tension, so it's going to smash some Nurofen and sit in the passenger seat for a couple of hours and let Kester drive. Just a little bit of a recap. We've charged up to 100% at work. Then we've gotten to Coffs Harbour, gone from 22% to 80%. Then we've gone Fernbank Creek Winery, went from 46% to 68%. Then Raymond Terrace went from 26% to 84%. We're at 24% now. We'll probably chuck it to 85% or something. Probably take us about 25 minutes or half an hour or so. This one will go really fast, so I'll get Kester to plug it in. Mercedes is still comatose in the back. I'll video how fast it starts charging in the car. Probably just max out at 250 kilowatts though, and that's as fast as the car can go. Turned me off. Oh, she's pulling her up. 40 kilowatt, 96, 124, 150, 160, 180. Oh, we're going to cross 200 real quick. Yeah, so maxed out at 200, starting to throttle back already. So most of our stops we've sort of made at these superchargers. Merck's gone ham because she's wanting to get out and walk and everything, but we've had our dinner. She's had her dinner at the last stop. So we were able to completely stop and she didn't even notice that we stopped. She's still in a coma. We've been here for about 10 minutes. She's just happily comatose in the back. So I haven't even got out of the car really. Just Kester plugged it in and then he had to get out when I farted. We've got about 11 minutes left and we'll be back on the road. And let's see where our next stop is. Holbrook, New South Wales, 40 minutes of charging.
Oh,
so no, but that's 2% if we leave now. Okay. So we're at 58% charge. Holbrook, we'll get there at 3% if we leave, and then that would actually get us all the way to Croydon after that. So might actually just charge this up to like 90%, which should get us to Holbrook with about 20-something% left, and then we'll charge probably to 90% at Holbrook as well. And that'll get us all the way to Croydon, all the way to Kester's house. So this is our second last charging stop basically. So however, that is a good 9 hours till the end. So yeah, that's 4 hours to Holbrook. So yeah, we'll see how we go, but might do a two more stops after this one maybe, but we'll see how we go. We're going to do a driver swap here. I'm sort of has a bit of Nurofen and a bit of water and just starting to feel better already just from relaxing for a bit. But maybe if we hit the road and I start tensing up again, maybe we'll just pull over somewhere and swap. But for now, I'll probably just keep motoring along and yeah, we'll carry on. So we're just coming up to Holbrook, which is our planned charging destination. When we left, it said we would get here with about 26% charge. So pretty lucky that we overestimated our charge level and charged a bit extra, because we've got 86 Ks to go and we've got 16 Ks to get there. So we're actually going to only get there with 12% left. So it's chewed a fair bit of extra energy than what it said it should have. Looking at this, it's used a lot due to elevation, but when you look at our trips window and you look at our energy usage, we're only averaging 143 watt hours per kilometre, which is actually below average for the trip. So it doesn't explain why we've actually used more energy. So I think the battery itself has actually misjudged how much range it had, more than the car underestimating how much energy we were going to use. So yeah, it's like we still used the right amount of energy, but there just wasn't as much left in the tank as what it thought there was going to be. So it's actually kind of a little scary because it's midnight, and if you look at the map, like if we were going, oh well, maybe we'll just stop somewhere else, there's no bit of CB chatter. You know, even all charges, there's nothing else that we could have gone to for quite a while. Like that one was pretty far back. You know, like there's no safety blanket here. There's just sort of where we've got to get to. So lucky we'll make it. We got, you know, 10 minutes till we get there, but yeah, just
It was a good idea to put that extra, bump it up to 80. I think you were going to stop it at 70 or just whatever we needed, and then you sort of decided we'll just go to 80 just to be safe. Yeah,
so from now on, when I'm driving home at the end of my trip, we're on my own, so I'll just definitely be charging to 80% every time I stop, just in case. I'd much rather that than get caught out. So we finally made it. It's Holbrook Golf Club, Bowls Club and everything. Literally only just made it. We got 60 k's to empty, 12%. Yeah, standard energy usage, nothing major. Below average, in fact, so I don't really know why we use so much. Sentry mode not available, insufficient charge. Anyway, we're going to whack her on supercharger and fang home. We haven't really had this yet, where it's absolutely fanging the front fan. Must be trying to keep it cool while charging. It went up to 250 kilowatts, but it's sitting at about 175 now, about a 35% charge. So I haven't really seen it get this loud and aggressive yet. The charger itself got really loud and noisy. The front of the car got really loud and noisy, but seems to be taking charge just fine. So I think it's normal, but Merc's deaf as a post, so she doesn't care. Happy leaving her little pea trails everywhere. So yeah, just charge her up to 79% there at Holbrook and hit the road again. We've decided it's added a stop in Euroa for 5 minutes just to top off. And then I've set it to go to Camberwell, just because Camberwell will be 30 cents per kilowatt hour, which is the cheapest in the area. And we'll hit her right up, top her right off for the fill the tank before I basically stop. So just because it's cheap, it's 30 cents at off-peak time, and then it'll have me sorted for the week for fuel basically. So I shouldn't need to recharge again until I leave. One of the most welcome signs is as you cross through Albury and you get to the Welcome to Victoria sign, because it means you're no longer in f***ing asshole New South Wales. Murray River, that means you, buddy. Next sign equals welcome to Victoria, no longer in shitty New South Wales. So rocked up at Euroa. So since last charge, weirdly enough, chewed through a bit of battery, 165 watt per kilometre, and I left at the last servo, and I was getting the old snoozies, so the old driver switcheroo about 70 k's ago. Kester took over. Anyway, it's 3 a.m, so Mercedes thinks it's breakfast time because she somehow conned me into giving her breakfast at 3 a.m. yesterday. So she's currently completely losing her mind in the back seat because it's breakfast time, and mostly because I also just stopped at McDonald's food. So I'm gonna have some food, Merc's gonna have some food. We're charging here for like 10 minutes and then hitting the road again, and then we'll be stopping at Camberwell, was it?
Yeah.
So we will be here for about 10 minutes and then hit the road again. So 5 minutes to continue trip, only literally just plugged it in, so it's just cruising at 130 kilowatt hours. So 5 minutes here and then we'll move on. We'll probably put a little bit more into it. Actually no, we probably won't, because it's 30 cents at the other spot. We charged for like 5 minutes, then we realised that it was only going to be 17% charged by the time we get to Camberwell, so didn't really think that through. So just whacked the charger back on, just stay here for another 5 or so minutes maybe, chuck a few more kilometre do's into the car, just to make sure we actually get to Camberwell without running out or any near misses like before. So obviously better safe than sorry when it's 3 AM in the middle of nowhere. Well, we've made it to Camberwell. Took a little bit to figure out where the hell to go. 160 k's since we left Euroa, 154 watt hours. Going to throw about 80% in, just so I've got some juice to use while I'm here in Melbourne. There was also just that away a little bit, looked like free charges, the Tesla destination charges. So if I do run a bit low of juice, I might come back here during the week and just park the car up and go cruise around the shops for a couple of hours, top it off for free. But it's only like 30 cents per kilowatt hour here anyway, and it's going to be a lot faster to charge, so we'll just pump in a bunch of charge. Yeah, so we're at the, it's bumped up to, so it's only 30 cents until 4 AM, so it's 50 cents per kilowatt hour. It's actually quite a bit more expensive than what it was going to be, but we'll bump a bit in now and head off. So this is probably where I'll actually end the video off for now. We're like 20 minutes from home after we finish this charge, so Mercedes is also losing her mind again. So I'll probably hit the video off here anyway. Yeah, I don't really know how I'm going to end this, but it's pretty much over. I'll put some overlays on the screen maybe of total Ks, total time, total energy usage, total dollars, all that. Driven between Brisbane to Melbourne. So we started with 100%. We'll probably bump this up to 80%, so it's relatively close enough. Yeah, and I'll catch you on the next video. Hopefully people are actually enjoying some of this Tesla content. I'm enjoying making it, obviously. Cruising around in the Tesla is awesome. The BA is obviously going to get some work done at some point. And I've still got the GDR too, so GDR needs brakes after the track day. She was very, very brake shuddery, so probably chuck some rotors and pads on that. Also, it's got a little bit of a clunk in the rear end from the, I think it was the toe arms in the rear, so I might end up doing some toe arm lockouts and some adjustable toe arms at some point. That's not a rush on that because I don't really drive the GDR much. But the BA will get some stuff done soon. I probably won't make a video driving home from Melbourne back to Brisbane.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Maybe if the video is not released yet, by the time I get home to Brisbane, I might also include how much it costs to get home, just for comparison in case it costs different each direction. But yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next video anyway.